You know what's fun? Money. You know what's less fun? Explaining where you got it when you got it illegally. That's where money laundering comes in. See, criminals are like toddlers with finger paints. They make a huge mess making their money, and then they need to find a way to make it look like they didn't do it. Money laundering is basically the financial equivalent of throwing your dirty laundry in the washing machine and hoping nobody notices the bloodstains. Why should care? Because this dirty money doesn't just disappear. It oozes its way into the real economy, messing things up for everyone. Think about it. Money laundering can prop up corrupt governments, fund terrorism, and make it harder for the little guy to get ahead. So how does it work? Well, strap in, because we're about to dive headfirst into the world of financial crime. Don't worry, I brought snacks. Just kidding. They confiscated my gummy bears at security. Money laundering is like a three-course meal, but instead of delicious food, it's all about making dirty money look clean. The first course is placement. This is where criminals get their dirty money into the financial system. Think of it like hiding your vegetables under your mashed potatoes. You're trying to make something unappealing look a little less suspicious. They might use cash-based businesses like casinos or restaurants, or they might just break up large sums of money into smaller deposits to avoid raising red flags. The second course is layering, which is where things get really convoluted. This is all about making the money trail as twisty and confusing as possible. Imagine a squirrel on a caffeine bender. That's the money bouncing between shell corporations, offshore accounts, and fake investments. The goal is to make it practically impossible to trace the money back to its original source. Finally, we have integration, the dessert of the money laundering world. This is where the now clean money is reintroduced into the legitimate economy, ready to be spent on yachts, private jets, and maybe even a solid gold toilet brush. Money laundering isn't just a victimless crime. It's a global problem with serious consequences. We're talking trillions of dollars being washed through the system every year, undermining economies, fueling corruption, and making it harder for developing countries to grow. Remember that squirrel on a caffeine bender? Imagine that squirrel is now loose in the global financial system, wreaking havoc. That's what money laundering does. It distorts markets, undermines legitimate businesses, and makes it harder for governments to provide essential services. It also erodes trust in financial institutions, which, let's be honest, already isn't exactly sky high. So, what are we doing about it? Well, the good news is that there are people out there fighting the good fight against financial crime. Governments around the world are working together to strengthen regulations, increase transparency, and make it harder for criminals to hide their dirty money. But it's not just up to the authorities. We all have a role to play. By being aware of the problem, we can help spot suspicious activity and report it to the appropriate authorities. We can also support businesses that are committed to ethical practices and hold our elected officials accountable for fighting financial crime. Remember, money laundering thrives in the shadows. By shining a light on this issue, we can help create a fairer and more just world for everyone. And maybe, just maybe, we can finally catch that caffeinated squirrel.